Sorry. Have you heard of the series called Our Sky? Have you heard of it? Very, very famous among teens.
Oh, not me.
Our Sky. Our Sky with two Y. Our Sky. Five couples altogether. All of them guys. So very famous now. Very famous for kids now. No, so what happened here? So no place for ladies anymore in Thailand. Sorry about it. Our Sky, SKYY, Our Sky. One of the top trends in Twitter throughout these many weeks. And I think about 400,000 retweets last week. 400,000 retweets last week. Very famous, but it's interesting. You haven't even heard of it, but it's very famous among teens. So it's the digital divide. So it's your world, it's their world.
Oh, it's series, right?
Series, yes.
Line TV.
Our or
Line
you
TV.
are SKYY, Our Sky.
GMM.
It's from GMM, yes. So, anything at all that I'd like to discuss tonight, up front? Anything at all?
Arrival visa free for Chinese citizens?
All right, yes. And not just Chinese, many countries, I think, many nationalities. But the focus is Chinese tourists, of course, and Taiwanese tourists. So Chinese and Taiwanese tourists. So I see the drop of Chinese tourists, the number of Chinese tourists in Thailand, from about 250,000 tourists per month to 60,000, to 50 to 60. So the government needs to do something. So 2,000 baht exemption for the visa on arrival fee. They really need something. Yeah. So any comments from you? So what really happened?
It's about the immigration office. They try to keep someone out of Thailand because of their work permits.
Oh, right.
Many Chinese they try to stay here longer than 3 months. They need to apply for the work permit.
Yeah.
But mostly they find the local consultant or the agent
I see.
to help them with the work permit. Mostly those work permit is not
Legal.
It's not 100% legal, but it's authorized by the government, by the immigration office, but there's some corruptions.
All right. But yours.
I'm sure
Yeah, okay. So, we do understand. Not 100% legal, not 100% legal.
Yeah.
It happens. Actually, not 100% legal, it's illegal. But we got this kind of thing, not 100% legal in this country. Yeah, all the time. It's legal for some. It's legal for some situation, but it's illegal for some situation. Interesting. And yeah, so the number of Chinese tourists dropped dramatically because of many situations. It's the accident in Phuket that the first that starts, and then I think dengue fever the news about dengue fever. It happens every year, the dengue fever matters. But this year, we don't really know what happened. I talked to one member of Thai Tourism Authority Committee, and he said people right now think, the authority thinks there might be someone or some competitors trying to do something in terms of the dark side of marketing to promote something bad about Thailand quite a lot in the Chinese markets. So that might happen. So we don't know. But we suspect that might happen. That might happen. Please.
There's one issue that after the vote, after the accident, the president said something bad
Right.
about the Chinese. That's why.
Right, that's the start of everything. So actually, he is the deputy prime minister. The guy is the deputy prime minister, and that's the way he talks in public. Yeah,
But
and
after
then
that, he tried to apologize.
he has to apologize. No one knows about his apology.
Huh.
That happens all the time. You create crisis, you apologize. No one care about your apology. So that's really happened. The deputy prime minister mentioned on the news that it's Chinese tourists, it's Chinese tour, it's Chinese boats, it's everything Chinese. Do we have to care? Yes, it's your country. And then it created lots of arguments on social media in China, right? We got lots of haters because of that statements. That's happened. And of course, you see the results now, and you try to make it better because of one guy and this guy, and that's happened. And I don't think it's the way to solve the problem, you see, to actually give discounts. In terms of marketing, is giving out discounts, 2,000 baht, to make it better known. It's more than just price, it's emotion indeed. Right? That's what happened with the Chinese tourists. So, what else? Donald Trump.
Because success.
So the votes.
No, but
Midterm elections took place today.
So
The Democrats won the House.
Democrats won the House.
First time since Obama in 2008.
Okay. Okay. So you see the results now. You see the results now. So Democrats won. Right. So it tells what really happened. Right? So they try to make changes as usual. So people try to make changes all the time in terms of politics, as you can see, right? Because they try to find something fit and perfect, and nobody perfect. Nobody perfect in the world. And then you get bored, and then you hate him, and then you hate the party, and then you change the side, and then you found it's even worse. Then you change the side
maybe.
again. This really happened everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world, because if you try to find something perfect, there's nobody perfect. There's no brand perfect. So keep in mind, no marketing campaign perfect. Right? And you need to do something else and try to make it better. Fighting off the risk. Even you make it very, very good, then there's nothing perfect. So please come up with the plan B or contingency plans all the time. Right? So we learn from the situation. And on this coming Friday, there will be an interesting event for what we call Icon Siam. So the opening of Icon Siam. So I'm thinking of it. So I got invited to be there. So about I think 30,000 people will be there. Right. So the traffic, and I have to wear something in gold. So gold outfits, motorcycle. So thinking of it, but I made the decision to go. So it's what I need to go and learn and understand and see things around and come back here next week and talk about it. Right. So that's so Icon Siam. How much does it cost for the opening of Icon Siam?
I heard they bring Alicia Keys as well.
So how much is it?
I'm not quite sure, but I heard they bring Alicia Keys.
They bring Alicia. That's rumors, yes. No one knows about it yet. No one knows about it yet. So I asked one of the students who happened to be with Icon Siam last night, who is it? Who will be at the surprise for the event? I heard that we got the surprise. And people found it might be Alicia Keys. Right? And some said it might be Beyonce. Even better. What's the best? Who will be the best to bring? And that's the real surprise.
It would be better than Beyonce.
Michael Jackson, indeed. Michael Jackson, that's the real surprise. So I don't know yet. So, some say it's Lady Gaga.
Could
But that would be interesting. It will be interesting indeed. So I don't know what will happen, but I got some photos though. We have to see some photos inside Icon Siam. Let's take a look. So it's confidential. Please do not take any photos.
Making for real estate
It's what?
workers like in the same industry.
Shall we go?
Wanna go, but maybe not invited.
Who is Waterster?
Who is what?
Who is Waterster from Australia?
What is the
Waterster.
World Star?
Australian
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman. Oh, X-Men.
Yeah, must be one big one.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Friday is like
Yeah.
What else?
Mel Gibson.
No Gibson.
Yeah.
Is he Australian?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
These very unofficial photos sent by my students.
Ooh.
So it's what happened today, just today.
Still confidential.
This is what happened inside.
Oh, looking good.
You see the brands now. So it's Tiffany and Co. there. Agnes. 2 floors, not just one. Right? But it looks, for me, it looks just like Siam Paragon for some reason.
I thought the same.
Just actually for Agnes, it's just 1 floor. As Siam Paragon is 2 floors. Right? On this side, it's Cartier. Not Louis Vuitton, and next to Cartier is Louis Vuitton. So very, very Siam Paragon-like. Right? So on the floor, once you enter the main entrance, then you see the very, very luxurious store first, and then what else? This on the other sides. So you see the colors: white, gold, and black. Not the church.
Is anyone gonna go? It's so far away.
Right. So you see the black color now. So the floor, right? And up here, so you see from the TV commercial of Icon Siam, it's birds, golden birds. So you see on the ceiling as well. So the birds, the golden birds here. You see some brands over here, Dior, Fendi, and Saint Laurent, Yves Saint Laurent. So top brands around.
Looking good.
So you see Louis Vuitton now, and Cartier. Bulgaria, I think.
Yeah.
Bulgaria, sorry. Bulgaria.
Ooh.
So this is what happened inside, and this is what happened today. So everything is not finished yet. So it's under construction. It's really under construction, and people talked about it. So it's this coming Friday already. The princess will be the one who opened it up. The royal princess, actually, the royal princess will be the one who opened it up, because the royal princess herself holds the chair of Siam Piwat, and Siam Piwat is the owner of Icon Siam.
Next door neighbor. Siam Piwat.
Where is it?
It's on the other side, Thonburi.
Across
the road from-
in Thonburi.
Thammasat. Across
So
the river.
you know that Oriental, right? On the other side of the river.
Next to Hilton, right?
I don't
Millennium
remember.
Hilton?
Next to Peninsula, right?
Well, maybe.
Very close to Peninsula, actually. So it's Peninsula here, and then some restaurants on Oriental, and then it's Icon Siam. So if you actually if you are at Oriental, you can actually take a look on the other side of Icon Siam.
And take a boat?
You can take a boat.
Will there?
Yeah.
Do they have a railway yet? They're gonna make their own railway line,
Yeah,
right?
they could have
Gold line.
their own sky train. So they invested 2,500 million baht to have
1.5 billion.
their own sky train. So to connect to the
100
main
million
transit system, the mass transit system, then they paid 2,500 million baht.
Wow. 4 stations, right?
4 stations, yes. So that's interesting. And
Unheard of.
who are the target groups? Who are the target customers
Yeah, good question.
of Icon Siam? And they said people around the world. They said people, because this is not actually a place for tourists to come, but they try to make it global destination, and that's the reason why they spent 1,000 million baht for just the opening. 1,000 million baht for the opening.
1,000 million baht. 1 billion baht.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, what do you expect? It's in terrible locations, right? Do you think
Yeah.
it's going to be working?
The way they think, very interesting. They will make the location better. So instead of trying to be in a good location, they will be the better to make the location better. They think about it on the other side. So very risky, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Very risky. But with all the power of the brands, you see, all the brands are there. So let's see how it goes.
Interesting. Quite interesting.
Oh, right. The next thing that I'd like to actually ask for your opinion is this one. So, as you can see, it's the Jula logos. So we have the old one, the Prakio of Chulalongkorn University. Do you actually know that we got no official Prakio? We got no official Prakio, the logo before. So it's interesting. So everyone loves to create new Prakio, so the Chula logos all the time, but we got no official ones. So it's time to come up with the official one, and it's right here. So let's see how it goes for the one people love to use. So this is going to be the new official one. And the one people love to use looks like just this. So there are many types of Jula emblem, actually Jula logos. So this one, for example, sometimes people like to make it just like this, the 3D one. Sometimes it is like this, the 2D with yellow color and pink. Sometimes it looks like this. Many times it looks like this. And we got this one as well. So many types. And sometimes people think this one is the official one. Every time that this one happens to be next to some other university's logo, it disappears. It's very thin, as you can see. Lots of details, all the details here, right? Sometimes we use this one, which is just what I talked about, a lot of details. Okay. So there are many brachials, no official ones yet. So it's time to come up with the official one. And this is the one that they have chosen, at the Central University. What do you think? Any opinion about it? So it's the last stage.
Any other pattern to compare to?
So actually hundreds actually, and at the end of the day, they chose this one right now. But it's on the last stage now. It's in the last stage now, and we're going to conclude everything by actually in the next 2 weeks. If you actually look at this one, just this one, so what do you think?
It's quite simple compared to other ones.
All right. Simple, right?
Yeah,
you can see
relative.
So you can see the simplicity of it, right?
Relative simplicity.
Relatively simple.
Not 3D, something like that.
Right. Not all the details.
It doesn't say anything about university on it. I know you can't change the brachial because it's the...
Yeah, we cannot change the brachial, that's the point. We cannot change the brachial, right? We cannot even touch it. We cannot even touch it. Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
In general, not too bad. It's the trend of doing something with the logo all the time. So think about Starbucks. They changed the logo of Starbucks many times before, from all the details with the mermaid, and then they try to make it simpler. So it's simple, make it simple, and right now it's even more simple, right? With just the face, not the tails, right? So it's more simple that way. So this one as well. So we try very hard to make it simple. If not, it's going to disappear with all the logos of many other universities in the world anyway, right? So this is just the way to go. Make it darker in some parts. Make it darker in these parts, right? And this one, right? Just that's the way it is, and make it simple in size. Not too alien, I have to say, right? But that's not the point. I think that the brachial will be fine. The brachial will be fine. We need to have the brachial in the way, but what we need to do is to come up with something else. Not just the brachial. Once we need to be in the international market, only international market, but brachial won't help. Right? We need to do something else, and then the style that the Central University has chosen is like this. So Chula instead of CU. At first, they like to try CU, but many people said CU stands for many universities. Cornell University, Colorado University, Cincinnati University of Cincinnati University, many other universities, including Cambridge University in the UK. So CU might not actually good for Chula. So instead of calling ourselves CU, we call ourselves Chula, and it seems to be fine. And people will like to use the term Chula instead for the international market. What do you think?
What is the curve on the C meant to be connecting with the H?
Yeah,
Is it elephant?
C and no, it looks like elephant indeed.
I'm trying hard to work out what it is, but I have no
They
idea.
just would like to make it connected. But for this one, so I don't really know what does it mean by this one. But they said so. We said we would like to do something that means sharing with society. So they try to share by using this connection. I don't know, but the one that I like is this one. So they try to mimic number one. So they try to mimic number one. With this line, the line is from some part of the Pagio. That's what the designer talked about it. Right? There are tons of choices, and at the end of it seems that people like this one. But what do you think? I'll be the one who presents this thing to everyone, but I don't like it that much, I have to say. But if they would like to go for it, I like it. Because it's not my brand's. It's everyone's. What do you think? Sure. So there are altogether 4 choices now. You see,
Solution for society.
the first one is Chula, with Chulalongkorn University, the gray one. So the Chula itself is pink. We cannot change the pink color though. And we have Chulalongkorn University down here. So the next one is pink and pink, not gray. Chulalongkorn University is pink and pink, Chula and Chulalongkorn University. And then it's Chula Solutions for Society. So they would like to have the slogan of the university down here, Chula Solutions for Society, with this kind of colors. 3D somehow. And then just one color, Chula Solutions for Society. Which one you like the most and why? Please.
I don't know, I don't really particularly like the slogan.
Okay.
But that's, put that aside, I think gray colors actually gives more dynamic to the logo, and also it enhances the Chula word more.
All right.
That use both.
Okay. Okay. So you mean the first,
Yeah.
the first option?
Yeah.
Please.
The C is too fat.
All right. I asked
It's
this.
a little bit short.
Which one?
Ish.
All right. This one is a little bit short.
Yeah.
And
C
it's
is too fat.
fat and short. Fat and short. Wonderful. Thank you. So I actually showed this one to the undergrad students before. They said, "Oh, Chaya." Oh, Chaya.
Or
All right. It looks like Ochaya brand without the leaves. So if you put the tea leaves there, it's Ochaya. Any other comments from you, please?
Is that logo is used like a art for many countries, like this logo.
Right.
But if you, I think it's like a usually the Akia one for another country they not perceive like this is Chula because they don't have a name. If you see the Oxford University
Right.
logo, and if you see only the word Chula, it's too simple. And
Too
it's
simple.
not-
So you like to combine the
not
two
make the-
together.
yeah.
Yeah. So in Thailand we use only the emblem. In Thailand we will use only the emblem because it's good enough to have the emblem in this country. Very good enough. But yeah, once it's international market, no conclusions yet.
If it's international market, I think you have to have the full name of the university.
Okay.
So if I take off knowledge of Chula, if I look at this and see Chula's solution for society, I think it's going to be like consulting firm or
I see.
something.
I see. So
Some
you need
corporate
to
firm,
Chulalongkorn
must
University, and if they would like to have solutions for society, it's fine. But you really need Chulalongkorn University right there. Indeed.
So depend on your target, yeah.
Any other comments? The undergrad said, it looks old. Yeah, they're young.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Does it look old to you?
No.
Alright.
No, I think it seems old. Decision makers are maybe old.
So if you see you and Chula, which one do you like more?
Chula.
Chula, okay, Chula is good enough. And what one professor from the Faculty of Arts said, and in one language in Africa, Chula means a male prostitute.
Oh.
I said, fine. Sometimes it's very difficult to deal with many experts in many fields, you see. That happens all the time. Okay? So if you need to choose, which one you like to choose?
Second
so
one.
option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. Who like option 1 the most? Please raise your hand. Option 1. Okay. Option 2, option 2.
Are you like the bottom one?
The bottom one.
Option 3. Option 3, no one. Option 4, no. So it's the same answers. The undergrad said option 1 as well. So thank you.
Oh, but no Thai language, no Thai script.
Yeah. Not this time. Okay, thank you. That's the first part of our class tonight. And so Icon Siam, we'll talk about Icon Siam next time, even more. So let's see how it goes. And I'd love to see who will be the guest, the secret guest. Answer key.
Is it at night time? What time does it start?
6 o'clock onwards on Friday.
Big star.
Yeah, surprise. So the next part of the class will be about the next P, and we have already talked about 2 P's: P product and P price, and then it's P place, right? And we don't call it P place anymore. Actually, we call it channel of distribution, or sometimes we call it distribution channel. So many times you won't see any places attached to the strategy anymore, or attached to the product anymore. You need no place for some products. So it should not be called place. It should be called channel of distribution. It can be on something online, and you can actually distribute your information, your products, your service online, right? So it's channel of distribution or distribution channel. Many times people call it convenience instead of even channel, just convenience. So that's the thing that you like to provide to your customers, right? So in general, we're going to talk about the overview of the channel matters, right? And we talk about the conflict among channels and how to deal with the conflicts, right? And how to make the decision in terms of channels of distribution. So in the channel matter, people talk about the term supply chain management, or SCM all the time. And even the term supply chain management, we change it many times to value chain management. So it's not actually just supplying. It's a very inside out way of thinking. The core of the class is about outside in. So it's not supply your product to the customer, but we deliver our value to the customers. So instead of calling it supply chain management, we might call it value chain management. Right? And we can sometimes call it value delivery network. So channel distribution is to manage the value delivery network, or VDN. Just to give you the terms. So it's all about SCM, VDN, right? If you happen to hear of these terms, then it's about channel distribution anyway. So it's about the way to look at it. Okay. So marketing channels. So we have already talked about product and price, so it's time to distribute the products with the price that we have set, right? So to channels. And we got channel members. So can you come up with any examples of channels of distribution?
E-commerce.
E-commerce. So if you talk about e-commerce these days, we should talk about what kind of campaign. It's very important for e-commerce this week. The most important week of e-commerce.
Black Friday?
11/11.
Yeah, so on Friday is the 9th, right? No, it's the 11th of November, so 11/11. 1111. Right? It's created by Alibaba.
Oh.
And right now, for every platform, they talk about 11/11. Lazada, Shopee, in China, Tmall, Taobao, and all the platforms, they talk about 11/11. It's the time to give people rewards, discounts, everything on that day. Such a huge day of e-commerce, especially in Asia. So last year, it's not the revenue per day, it's revenue per second that people mentioned or talked about on 11/11. So take a look. If you haven't downloaded any platforms or application, Shopee, Lazada, JD.com, please do it so you learn a lot this week and play with it. Play with all the apps and you learn more about marketing this week, 11/11, the campaign. It's interesting. Good discounts as well. Good discounts, good products, 11/11. Right? So channel distribution, it can be e-commerce and then Shopee, Lazada, right? JD.com. Take a look and keep your eyes on JD.com in Thailand. It's going to be huge. It's from Central Group. 10,000 million baht investment for this platform and see how it goes. 10,000 baht from Central Group and 10,000 million baht from Central Group and 10,000 million baht from JD.com itself from China. And they have contacted Chula already. One main delivery point in Bangkok will be at Chula on JD.com. And another key delivery point will be at Sala Prakio, the building in the central part of Chula, and they will use the autonomous cars to deliver all the products within Chula. So that's what will happen very, very soon. So soon, around here, and you learn. Right, so that's marketing channel. But for the traditional ones, any examples for traditional ones?
Department store.
Department stores, convenience stores, warehouse stores, factory outlets, right? Specialty stores around, discount stores, right? Wholesalers, not just retailers. Macro, Tesco Lotus, Big C, right? Central World, Siam Paragon, Supermarket, many other examples of channel of distribution. So you see many channel of distributions around in terms of marketing, right? And sometimes once we learn about channel of distribution, you learn that there are some benefits from channel of distribution themselves, right? One example is this one. By understanding the system of channel of distribution, it might reduce the cost attached to the marketing method. It can be seller 1, seller 2, and seller 3. Distribute to customer A, customer B, and customer C. So how many times of deliveries altogether?
9.
9 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 times 3, 9 times altogether. If you do something and we understand one example and one interesting idea of channel of distribution, it might be better. So seller 1, seller 2, and seller 3, and buyer 1, customer A, customer B, customer C, and we understand that we might be able to come up with a distribution center. That's what people call DC, distribution center. So it's not actually 9 times. So you only need altogether about 6 times. So 3 plus 3, which is 6 times. But in the real world, think about it. 7-Eleven, not 3 and 3. How many 7-Eleven in Thailand now?
14,000?
So how many suppliers for 7-Eleven? So in general, about 2,000 suppliers for 7-Eleven. How many 7-Elevens? About 11,000 7-Eleven. Think about this one. It's 3 times 3 and 3 plus 3. That is easy. But in the real world for 7-Eleven, it's 2,000 times 11,000. $22 million times delivery. And for this one, it's 13,000 deliveries. So if you compare what happened over here, you see the real benefits of distribution center. Right? So this is just one example of the benefits of understanding channel of distribution methods. And it is over here. In your slide. How can the channel of distribution help your company and your brand? First thing first, they give you context and experience. They have specialization, and they reduce or better the scale of operation. Sometimes it is even better. They can bear some risks for you. Right? If they buy the products from you and resell it, let's say they resell your products later, right? And then they can bear all the risks attached to the products, right? So the channel members many times add value. Over here, it helps the function that the channel member can perform many things. Transaction completion using information. Promotion helps you with the promotional methods. Contact your customer, match your product with the one who needs it, right? And help you with negotiation. risk taking, physical distribution, financing. These are just examples. These are just examples of the benefit that you will get from the channel members, right? And the next one is actually about channel levels. There are two types of channel actually. Indirect channels and direct channel. Just to let you know the terms. Indirect channels. So you need to actually sell it to someone first, and then that one will actually resell it later. So that's indirect channel. If you actually sell the product directly to your customer, then it's direct channel. Example of indirect channel.
Seven.
Yeah, that's it, all around. So indirect channel. Some companies sell the products to 7-Eleven, Big C, Tesco, Lotus, or even Chulalongkorn University bookstore, right? And then they resell the products. Then that indirect channels. So any example of direct channel?
TV direct.
TV direct. From TV direct to your home, right? So TV direct is that a direct channel, right? So have you seen the product called MP3 for country music? So Thai country music and the MP3 player contain all the country music many years ago, and it's right now sold on TV with TV Direct. I just met with one guy from TV Direct and asked about the sale volume of that thing. So it's good old days for many people. It's very good old days for many people. So they talk about the old day of Thai country music, contain about 4,000 songs. They're all MP3. You can actually download them anywhere, anyway. But they combined everything together, and then they got this kind of machine called old country music. 4,000 of them happen to be in here, 2,000 baht each. If you buy it right now or within 30 minutes, you get something, 20% discount or whatever. So what's the sale volume so far? 500 million baht. 500 million baht. Yes.
They have to call that big copyright.
I don't know. I don't know about the problem of copyrights. Yeah, sorry about it. I haven't asked. But I got stunned by the sale volume. And that's what we call niche market. Very niche market. Right? So we try to talk about Joox, Spotify, all the platforms, right? And once you got to see this kind of niche market, then the game can be changed. Right? This is just an example, right? So just to let you know the terms direct marketing channel and indirect marketing channel. So over here, this actually direct marketing channel, and these are indirect marketing channels. So from producer to retailer, retailer to consumer, indirect. From producer to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and retailer to consumer, indirect. These are about the old day. This day is different, totally different, and the way of thinking can be totally different. People talk about O to O all the time.
What is it?
P2P, O to O, consumer to consumer, peer to peer,
Right.
all the time. So how can we call it? I don't know, but it's not in your book. So the book might not be able to tell everything in the digital marketing world these days. So keep in mind, but we talk about it in our class, right? So is that direct marketing? But you said direct marketing should be from producer to consumer. It is consumer to consumer. What is it? How can we manage it? It's just different, right? So just to let you know the limitation of what we talked about in the book, right? So in general, in the channel system, each channel members got its own behavior, and sometimes we found conflicts among them. So we got two kinds of conflicts here. So horizontal conflict and vertical conflicts. If the conflict happens between the channel members in the same level, so wholesaler and wholesaler, retailer and retailer, we call it horizontal conflicts. If this conflict happens with different levels of channel, so retailer and wholesaler, retailer and producer, then it's vertical conflicts. Which one is more common? Horizontal or vertical? Horizontal indeed. So 7-Eleven and Mini Big C, of course, they are competitors by default, right? So, but many times we've also found vertical conflicts. So we need to do something with the vertical conflicts and horizontal conflicts. So how can we make it better? So move away from the conventional distribution channel and try to make it better by coming up with vertical marketing system. So this is the term that people talked about all the time in terms of channel. So vertical marketing system. Try to do something better in terms of channel conflicts by coming up with vertical marketing system. So try to come up with a channel system. So there are 3 types of vertical marketing system. The first one, so this is the idea. So it's producer to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and retailer to consumer, you see. So you might be able to create conflicts between producer and wholesaler, wholesaler and retailer, producer and retailer and retailer back to producer and wholesaler. So many ways. To make it better, combine all of them. That's what we call vertical marketing system. So combine all of them. How can we combine all these actors? 3 ways. Corporate VMS, you buy everything out. If you own everything, it will be fine. That might be one way to make it better. So ease the channel conflicts, you buy everything else, and then you own everything, right? And that's what we call corporate VMS. Can you come up with any examples of corporate VMS? CP. And for sausage products, so they produce sausage by themselves, right? And then they sell the sausage products to 7-Eleven, and then they own everything, right? So not much conflict between CP Food and CP All 7-Eleven. The owners at the end of the day will be the same guy. So that's corporate VMS. How about what else? How about the other options? If you don't really have that money, lots of money to buy everything out, so you come up with contracts, and maybe call it contractual VMS. Contractual VMS. So some contracts might help. And so this is the start of the franchising system. So all the franchise, KFC, McDonald's, right? Subway is the best franchise in the world for many years. So 2 competitors for the best franchise system in the world, Dunkin' Donuts and Subway. 2 of them. So contractual VMS and administered VMS. Administered VMS, you need to come up with some kind of power to control everyone in the channel member matters. So let's talk about each of them. So we have already talked about corporate VMS, and we talked about 7-Eleven and CP. How about contractual VMS? So right now, before we move on, right now we found that Apple itself, right, try to come up with its own stores in many countries, right? And then we found 2 Apple store that will be opened very soon, right? One at Icon Siam, the other one will be at Central World. So that's corporate VMS as well. Corporate VMS as well. So how many Apple stores owned by Apple around the world now? I just read through the article wrote by the executive for Apple Store. Very interesting, a lady in a tech company who leads all the Apple stores in the world, about 300 Apple stores now. The way of thinking of her is very interesting. So it's not about the place to sell, it's the place to make the community better. So you can actually go there and learn about how to take nice photographs, learn about languages and many other things without having any Apple's devices. Right? That's the way of thinking of the leaders of Apple stores right now. So no need to buy anything, but you can be better at Apple stores. Very interesting way of thinking, right? So that's the example of corporate VMS, the example of contractual VMS. We talked about the McDonald's, KFC. Which one is the oldest one?
You said A&W.
Yeah, I said once A and W. For the restaurant though, for the restaurant. For everything, I mean, the first franchise in the world, the first franchise brand. Singer, yes. Right. Actually, there are many types of franchise. So, the franchise systems here, 3 types. Manufacturer sponsor retailer franchise system. Manufacturer sponsor wholesaler franchise system, and service firm sponsor retailer franchise system. So 3 types of franchise. That's it. What do they mean over here? So manufacturer products. So if you hear of all the terms, try to make it simple, so you can remember them. But this one, manufacturer products. Retailer, so it's product retail franchise. Manufacturer products, product wholesale franchise. And this one, service retail franchise. So how come we got no service firm sponsor wholesaler franchise system? Sorry?
Fitness.
Yeah, down here you can talk about the example of fitness center, the gym. So why don't we have service firm sponsor wholesaler franchise system?
Service has to be service individual.
Right. So it's the characteristics of service itself. You cannot sell service in bulk. You cannot touch it. It's intangible. In general, it's very difficult to come up with a wholesaler system for service.
Maybe slave labor.
Sorry?
Slave labor
Slave labor.
could be wholesale, right?
Yeah, you can put it. All right. Put it right there. Then service firm sponsor wholesaler franchise system by Jay. Right. In general, you see, it's service firm sponsor retailer franchise system. So if it is long, try to make it simple and you understand it right away. So product retail, product wholesale, service retail. So 3 types of franchise system. So some examples of manufacturer sponsor retailer franchise system. Any examples?
Car dealer.
Yeah, car dealers. Right. So, Mitsubishi. Honda, Toyota, right? Car dealers, manufacturer sponsor retailer franchise system. So you see the car dealers around. How about manufacturer sponsor wholesaler franchise system? Macro, possible, yes. Yeah. If you think about macro as a wholesaler, it can be wholesaler, of course. Manufacturer sponsor wholesaler franchise system and all the bottlers for Coke, Pepsi. So in each country, Coke and Pepsi will appoint bottlers, right? In Thailand, we got Thai Nam Tip, that's the name of bottler of Coke in Thailand, right? And the company itself won't sell the product directly to the consumers. In general, it sells the products to many retailers, and then retailers sell the products to consumers. So manufacturer sponsor wholesaler franchise system. Service firm sponsor. Service firm sponsor. So all the restaurants that we mentioned, right? And franchise system for hotels. For Marriott, they got a Fairfield, for example, Marriott Fairfield. So service firm sponsor retailer franchise system, right? And for Accor, they've got Ibis. So franchise. Please do take a look in the hotel industries. You will see that. So it's interesting. The big firms love buying all the brands now. So just under Accor, which brands are under Accor? Many brands. The highest one was Sofitel. It is not Sofitel anymore. Sofitel is in the middle of Accor now. The best one for Accor is right now Ruffle. Fairmont. They got Ruffle in Singapore and Fairmont in many countries now, and then it's sold by Sofitel and Sofitel itself, and then Novotel and Mercure and M. Gary. So many hotels, including V over here. So it's more about boutique hotels and Ibis and many other brands under this group. Accor, the third largest hotel chain in the world, is the third largest. The largest one, which one?
So Marriott.
Is a Marriott, of course. The second one. Hilton. Conrad Hilton, number 2. Number 3, Accor. Marriott itself got many brands as well, including Marriott, Marriott Residence, Marriott Fairfield. What else? JW Marriott, Ritz-Carlton. Ritz-Carlton is under Marriott. What else? W, Westin, Element, Sheraton. They are all under Marriott's. Renaissance under Marriott. They're all under Marriott's now. So you see what really happened with the hotel industry. The big players are very, very big now. Right? It's very difficult to become the one in the industry these days. Right? So the competition should be very fierce. So that's the point. So Philips firm sponsor retailer franchise system. Okay. So also car rental. Some car rental system can be considered service firm sponsor retailer franchise system. Hertz, Avis, many other brands. So there's contractual VMS and administered VMS. So some players in the channel system happen to have a very powerful methods to control over the system. In Thailand, Chulalongkorn University Bookstore got that power to control the system of textbooks industry. Textbook industries right now is controlled by Chulalongkorn University Bookstore. What happened with your book, many years ago? So your book is from Pearson, and Pearson said they sell the book very cheap in Thailand, but it's expensive in the international market. It's about 1,000 baht for your marketing management book in Thailand, but it's about that 3,000 baht in the US.
Maybe more.
Can you see the opportunity?
Oh, resale.
Is it 1,000 baht here in Thailand, 3,000 baht in the US? You see the opportunity now. So what's the opportunity?
Resale.
Yeah, you buy it here, resell it there. So you just deliver all the books to the US and then it's going to be just fine. Because marketing management book, your book, is very popular around the world anyway. So there's opportunity. So someone took the opportunity and resell it in the US. And then Pearson found it and said, it's a mistake of Chulalongkorn University Bookstore. So Chulalongkorn University Bookstore might need to pay for the fee. All the difference, 2,000 baht difference, right? And then altogether, the university bookstore might need to pay about 4 or 5 million baht. They said. And Chulalongkorn University Bookstore said, no, we won't pay. So Pearson said, fine, we won't let you sell our books anymore. And Chulalongkorn University Bookstore says, fine, fine, go for it. 5,000 baht, no. 5 million baht, no. And what happened next? I could not find any books to use. And the student back then needed a book. So what next? Just after a year, Pearson came back, knocked the door to Chulalongkorn University Bookstore. So it will be fine, please sell it. The bookstore said, why? Do we need to pay you 5 million baht still? No, it's fine. Everything is fine now. Everything is sold, of course. After you see it, the sale volume reduced, then everything is fine. Right? So that's administered EMS. Some player in the system got that power to control over the channel. So administered VMS. So there are 3 types of vertical marketing systems here. Not just vertical marketing system to better the situation of horizontal conflicts. Then we got horizontal marketing system. Many times we turn the competitors to become our partner. This is just fine. Many times we turn competitors to be our partners. That's the way to do horizontal marketing system, right? And in general, it's not just direct channel, but there will be about indirect channel at the same time. So if we combine the direct channel and indirect channel all together, we got the term called multiple distribution system. Sometimes we call it hybrid system, just to let you know the terms. Multiple distribution system or hybrid system. Unilever is a good example for hybrid system or multiple channel system now. In the past, it was indirect channel. These days, we found not just indirect channel, it's not just product from Unilever to 7-Eleven and then consumer. Sometimes they sell their products directly to consumer called Unilever Direct, I think. So that's multiple distribution system. So you see, the single firm sets up 2 or more marketing channels to reach 1 or more customer segments. So multi-channel distribution system or hybrid system. Before taking a break, let's talk about the trend in the channel of distribution. So we found this kind of trend many years now. It's this intermediation. So what people try to do is to reduce the number of channel members. Why?
It costs a lot.
Yes, it costs a lot. So sometimes you need to actually give some margin to the channel member, and the channel members need to give some margin to the next channel member, right? So many levels. So if we can reduce the numbers of channel members, we got better margin. Is that a good way to go? What do you think? You try to do it, and even Pepsi tried to do it once in Thailand, and this is a huge case. It's the case that the MBA students talked about all the time around the world. A few years ago, Pepsi would like to reduce the number of channels of distribution. So what happened? Right. So it is like this. So Pepsi and the company called Samsung. Samsung is a bottler of Pepsi for 50 years. And Samsung made Pepsi number 1 in the Thai markets. So in general, Coca-Cola or Coke should be number 1 in the market, right? But in Thailand, it was Pepsi. It's Pepsi all the time. So for many years, many decades, it's all about Samsung. And then the Pepsi found it's a good way to disintermediate, so cancel the agreement of Samsung. Because this is the place that Pepsi is number 1. So it should be the place to let the channel member go and take all the margin, right? That's what happened with Pepsi. So Pepsi made the decision to disintermediate, right? So in general, they actually cancel out the agreement with Samsung, and what happened next? Yeah, Samsung came up with its own cola called Est. EST. What does it mean by Est?
The best.
The best, yeah. The best is superlative way of thinking. EST. Thai people won't call it Est anyway. Thai people call it Ed. Samsung happen to be very good in terms of distribution though, especially for restaurants. You ask for Coke, you got Est. You ask for Pepsi, you got Est. So it's 20% of the total market.
Really?
Yeah, in the restaurant. And then Pepsi got more than 50% of the distribution in the restaurant in this country. No, Pepsi, Samsung got more than 50% of the restaurant in this country. And Pepsi got hurt. And Pepsi right now become number 2 by far. Number 1 is Coke. Number 1 is Coke, number 2 is Pepsi, and number 3 is Est. More than 10% of market share. It's not easy to find any countries with the 3rd brand of cola. So Coke and Pepsi all the time, but in Thailand we got Est, more than 10% of the market. And that's such a wrong decision of Pepsi. So is this intermediation good? We don't know yet. And the case of intermediation that happened in Classic is about Pepsi and Samsung. And not just the MBA class in Thailand, it's MBA class around the world talked about it. Pepsi and Samsung case. So that's disintermediation. So that's the first part of our class tonight. So we mentioned a lot about channel of distribution, and we see things in terms of channel of distribution. And we keep talking about channel of distribution, not just this week, next week as well. Okay, so let's take a break and we come back, talk about it more.